Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing that we can promise is that our conversation will be less than fascinating so that you, our listeners, can just drift off. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your co-host, Nidhi Khanna. Marco, a few weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I can't remember, a previous episode, essentially, we talked about fire.
We did. It was the fire episode.
It was the fire episode, very fiery. And I think that naturally, that means we should be talking about water as its opposite. Is water the opposite of fire?
Oh, that's a great question when you're dealing with opposites, right?
If there's such a thing, I guess maybe...
I don't know if water's the opposite of fire, but it's certainly the sort of... the element that it is contrary to fire, I guess you would say. One extinguishes the other.
Okay.
It doesn't feed. So like air would feed fire. And I think air feeds water too or something.
Yeah, because you need...
Because water extinguishes fire, and then heat will boil water to a gas, right? So they kind of...
It's like a chemical paper, scissor, rock.
I guess, yeah. When you do paper, scissors, rock, what do you tend to be?
Good question. I tend to... It depends. It depends on the person.
Okay.
I try and figure out what the other person's going to be, but
Right.
I want to say I'm usually like a rock or the scissors.
Okay. The more violent of the instruments.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Right, I'm just curious.
I just find paper... meh.
Speaking of paper and water, what I was taught to do when you have important paperwork, so let's say you've paid bills and you have the envelopes that are left that indicate your address and possibly the utility that you're paying, or any particular envelope or address that might be on a piece of paper that you don't want anyone to have access to. So if you don't have, let's say, access to a shredder, my mom says, throw it in the sink and put water on it, in particular if you have several pieces of paper. So if you've got a multitude of things that you want to destroy, when you soak them in water, so just run the tap on them, let them sit there for however long you can, crumple them up. When they dry, they get all sort of clumped together, and you throw it in the recycle. If you can recycle paper in your recycling trash bin, and there you go. And that helps to...
That sounds like a really complicated, long process.
No, you just throw it in the sink and you let it sit there.
Why don't you just rip it and then put it in two different garbages?
Because you know what? What if the person is able to decipher from your rips who you are? I don't know. That's what I've done.
It's a good process.
It's also the water episode. So
it is the water episode, you're right.
It's not the ripping and throwing episode.
Correct. But back to paper, scissors, rock. What is the one that you usually go for?
I think I probably hit scissors more than the other two, just because it's a more fun finger movement gesture, yeah. So I think that's the one that I tend to, which now I've just revealed to people who might play that with me.
I know.
They should be doing rock.
We'll have to do it.
For people who don't know what rock, scissors, paper is, it's when you sort of make a fist and you kind of like shake your hand 3 times with your opponent, and then you reveal either scissors, paper, or rock with your hand gesture. So a rock would be a fist, paper would be a flat hand, and scissors would have your index and your middle finger out like a scissors, and one will dominate or win over the other. So rock will beat scissors, because rock you can break scissors with. Scissors will cut paper, so scissors wins against paper, and paper covers rock, so it beats.
See, I don't agree with the paper covering the rock thing.
No?
No, because, a rock could destroy a paper in a second. If you threw a rock into a piece of paper, let's say, it would form a hole.
What if you covered a rock in lots of paper? The rock would be softer, right? So if you threw a rock at someone, it would do damage. But if you threw a paper-covered rock, the damage would be less. So it takes some of the power away from the rock.
I will...
Checkmate.
No, not if it's papier-mâché paper.
If there's a lot of it on there.
Well, maybe, but that would be very labor-intensive. Although you clearly like the more labor-intensive route, so...
I guess.
But speaking of water, to go back there, and we may have discussed this on an earlier episode, I can't remember, but you, in fact, don't know how to swim, Marco.
No, I'm not a strong swimmer at all.
So...
Are you a strong swimmer?
I am a strong swimmer, yeah. I'm not as strong as I used to be because I haven't, like, swum laps in a really long time, but I used to. I think I was, like, a junior lifeguard at that level or
So you could only save young people.
Correct. Did you ever want to learn how to swim?
Oh, when I was a child, I wanted to be an oceanographer or a marine biologist.
Oh, right, of course.
So that was important for my line of field. So you would think it would be something that I would really want to do. And I went to swim lessons, but no.
No? You just didn't like it?
Yeah, I think I was a little bit scared of the water, or at least I didn't like to put my head in the water, and I don't like heights, and part of it was you had to dive off a diving board, so none of that sort of worked for me as a child.
Right. And so when you go to the cottage and it's near the lake, do you swim in the lake?
Well, I'm fortunate because the bay that we're on is very shallow, so you can walk out for quite some time and not get above your head. So I just go in deep, and sometimes I'll swim, but I don't like to get my head under the water, which of course is counter a lot of swimming strokes and whatnot. And so I tend to just kind of like drift and sit and whatnot.
And when you're in like a pool, let's say a hotel pool or a friend's pool or something, do you ever get on those flotation devices where you can just kind of lounge in the water?
Yeah, I don't like to do that either. My preference would be to play like frisbee or something in the water. That's what my preference would be versus just sitting back in the water.
What about playing Marco Polo?
I've never really done that.
Really?
No, but it's interesting because at least once a month, when my name is said, somebody will say polo. It's one of those irritating things that, it's like we were recently like at a store. I can't remember what store it was, and I went to go fetch something. I think it was a grocery store, and Amanda was calling me. She was like, Marco, the checkout was happening, and she was like, Marco, and then people kept yelling polo.
People can be jerks.
Yeah, well, I think they don't even realize, right? So it's something that happens all the time. Oh.
Amazing.
How about you? Did you ever play Marco Polo?
Yeah, so I had a swimming pool in the house that I grew up in.
Oh, cool.
And we used to have quite a few pool parties and things like that. And we would play Marco Polo quite often. Yeah.
How exactly does it work? Because I don't even really know 100% how that game works.
So if you're in the pool, one person is, well, not blindfolded, but has their eyes closed, and everyone else is in the pool as well. And so the person who has their eyes closed screams out Marco, and everyone else says polo, and he or she who has their eyes closed has to catch someone next to them. That's how you, and then that person becomes...
I see. So it's kind of like a blind tag of some sort.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. So depending, it's a pretty, I guess thinking back on it, it's actually a pretty easy game, to get away from the person who's got their eyes closed.
Right.
So, but when you're in water, I don't know. Something about the simplicity of water makes things that would on land seem really boring suddenly seem fun.
Do you like taking baths?
I do. I do. I don't have a bath though. I have a shower, so I haven't taken a bath in a really long time. But I love baths. Do you like using Epsom salts and things like that? Yeah, totally. All of that, and warm, hot water. Oh, okay. So beautiful. There's a spa here in Toronto called Body Bliss.
Okay.
That has these different... It's women only, and it's got different pools. Okay. So you do this circuit. So it's you have you have a main pool that's just you can hang out. And
a normal pool.
Normal pool. Then you have like this green tea pool that is really, really warm. Then you have...
And is there green tea in the pool?
I don't know.
Must be, if they're going to call it.
Yeah, I would think so. I would hope so, but who knows? It could just be a marketing thing too. Who knows? And then you have like a cold water pool, and then you have like a steam, and you just keep doing a circuit of it.
Oh, wow.
That's really, nice and relaxing by the end of it.
Do you like being in saunas? So, like, you know how, like, if you're in sauna for a great deal of time, you will end up with a lot of moisture on yourself, so hence the water.
I love saunas. Actually, last weekend I was at a Russian sauna in
Tell me about
Toronto. It's this, like, hidden away, tucked away sauna, and it's really bizarre because it's family run, but it's in the back of this shopping complex, like this strip mall, essentially.
Oh, wow. Is it like an authentic Russian bathhouse? Okay.
Yes. And so if you don't know where you're going and you're just bringing someone there, it's like, what kind of weird place are we going to, right? Like Russian bathhouse.
I should mention that, the Swedes, the Norwegians, the Russians will not often, they have these sort of baths and warm and cold baths that you could go from one to the other, and they have a lot of sort of I'm saying the word a lot, but they have a lot of these traditions, and I know Russians will use eucalyptus leaves and stuff incorporated into their baths.
Absolutely.
So that's just something very fascinating. Anyways, continue. Sorry about that.
No, so you walk in, and this lovely family greets you, and again, you're sort of not quite sure where you're at because it's this very odd place. The lighting's kind of fluorescent lighting. They hand you like a bathrobe and a towel, and you go change into a swimming suit, essentially.
Okay.
And you put on these slippers, and then you go into sort of the main part of the bathhouse, and you're greeted. The first image that you have is this like living room with wood, with the paneling, the 80s dark paneling that used to have in like basements.
100%. Essentially
that, a bunch of Russian TV being played, and the owner, the father, sometimes is just asleep on the couch,
Perfect.
So and then you go in, so you can turn right is going to take you to the bath area, but left takes you into the restaurant area where they have...
there's a restaurant.
Oh, yes, where they have authentic Russian home-cooked meals, and vodka-based drinks, of course, and it's wonderful food. And it's all... You walk in, and again, it's got like... kind of this paneling, but also all these communist era photographs and posters.
Amazing.
And then there's a bunch of tea that's laid out that you can enjoy.
Oh, great.
So different teas from around the world. And then
Russian tea is one of my favorite teas. It's a very milky tea. I think we spoke about this once before, but it's one of my favorite teas.
It's funny because they have a sign on the tea in the tea area that says, if you want milk in your tea, you need to not go like we don't put milk in our black tea.
Oh, I see.
Which is interesting.
Also, maybe I'm wrong about Russian tea.
Maybe it's something else.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
So then you go into like the bathhouse area, like on the opposite side. And the bathhouse area has, again, a similar circuit. So there's a Finnish dry spa dry sauna, which is the type of sauna that you usually see if you're like at a gym or, it's or at a pool or something. It's a dry sauna. You don't sweat in it. You dry. It's dry heat. Then they also have a steam room that has, as you say, Marco, eucalyptus that does come out with the steam, sort of like it's in the air. And you definitely sweat in there, or it's definitely very wet because of the moisture from the steam room. And then they have a cold water area where you can take you can actually pull what's it called? A string, essentially,
Okay.
and a bucket of ice cold water will get dumped on you.
Oh, like flash dance.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Totally flash dance. Or they also have a cold water pool, so you can
that's
choose
cool.
either. And then my favorite one is the actual authentic Russian sauna that you go into, and it is very high heat, but unlike a dry Finnish sauna, the Russian sauna does actually make you sweat.
Oh, okay.
And it's a huge, there's a lot of wood, and there's like almost like a stove, like one of those ovens that you used to have to open, like a wood fire oven, essentially, where you can pour water on it to actually increase the heat.
Wow, this place sounds huge.
Yeah, it's actually it's an amazing, so you do the circuit a few times, and it's literally, you feel similar to that feeling after like a massage or something really relaxing. You just like, you're kind of in a daze, and so it's fun because you usually start with the spa circuit and then head over to have lunch or dinner in the restaurant, and it's open until about 11 o'clock or midnight most nights. So we went during the day, like right when it opened, so there's less people, but apparently in the evenings this place gets packed.
Wow.
And people will stay until midnight at this Russian sauna.
You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. Or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
We've got your cravings covered. Now stop in for the flaky Filet-O-Fish, the crispy snack wrap, or large fries for just $2.99. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
To tip off this NBA season on FanDuel, you can choose your own rewards, which means you can play your game any way you want.
I get to choose my rewards?
Yep.
Great! Now, excuse me while I lock in.
All customers choose your own reward right now in the FanDuel app. 21 plus and present in select states. 18 plus in Kentucky. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirement, and max wager amount. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Did you get a chance to, have you ever been to a sauna or something like that?
Not something like this. I've always wanted to go to those Himalayan salt spas.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that I think there was one near my house that closed down. Sadly, I saw the sign for it after it was closed. And that's probably why it closed down, because
No one saw the sign.
well, no one knew it was there, or at least I didn't. But I've always wanted to go to one of those. I've certainly been to a Swedish spa years and years ago in Sweden, and I went to a Finnish spa in Thunder Bay, Ontario, because there's a huge Finnish population up there, and that was really neat. In that it really had a sort of Nordic feel to it, and I got to have Finnish pancakes, which was the best part.
Have you ever been in one of those sensory deprivation tanks, like those float tanks?
Yes, and I think I spoke about it on a previous episode,
you did.
and I did not enjoy it.
No.
No, but it's interesting to swim or to be in water that is heavily salted. And that's not the right word, but it's got a high saline content in it, I guess is how you would describe it, because you do float. And I know, like the Dead Sea, right? Have you ever been to the Dead Sea?
I have not.
Have you ever been somewhere where there's a lot of no?
No.
So you just naturally float. So I've been trying to find if you put milk in your Russian tea while this conversation was going on, and I have not found anything that indicates Russian tea is milky, so that's probably just the way I drink it. But what I did find, which was very fascinating with regards to Russian tea, is that they will often stir jam into their tea.
Oh.
Yes.
For what purpose?
Just to flavor the tea with jam,
Wow.
I guess. Yeah. So that's something interesting as well. I mean, it doesn't say you can't add milk to it, so I always thought it was just a milky tea, but everything that I've recently found seems to indicate that it is not a milky tea as I would have expected. But in the 19th century, no worries.
No.
In the 19th century, Russians drank their tea with a cube of sugar held between their teeth. And this tradition still exists.
Wow.
So I guess you wouldn't sweeten your tea. Rather, you'd hold the sugar cube in your teeth, and then drink the tea, allowing it to be sweetened with that cube. It seems a little bit weird to me, but
It seems a little bit, again, laborious for its purpose. But I'm just looking on the website of the Banya that I went to.
oh, okay.
Which is the Russian spa. And so...
Sorry, how do you... Vanya?
No, Banya.
Oh, Banya.
Banya. And so this place had
That means bath, I'm sure, because in Italian it's bagno. So I imagine
there you go.
in
There you
Russian
go.
it's banya.
So like I said, this place had a dry finish sauna. Then the steam room, which is like a Turkish hammam
Yes.
type of steam room. And then the Russian Banya. So I'm going to try and find on their website where I first read.
And is it co-ed, this place?
It is co-ed,
Okay.
yeah. I think there's like certain evenings where it's women only
Okay.
or something like that. But
And you must wear clothes.
yes, you must wear clothes.
Because the Swedish one I went to,
Oh, really?
it was co-ed, and I don't even want to say clothing is optional because everyone was without. So it was very interesting, to say the least.
I bet. I bet. Okay, so here we go. Black tea is the most common in Russian households. We tend to drink it lightly brewed and with sugar. Please leave the milk in England. Milk actually kills the antioxidants that are contained within tea, so think twice. So, there you go.
There you go. Well, so I was 100% wrong on that.
Maybe you were thinking of more like Indian teas or South Asian
Do
content.
do South Asian teas have a lot of milk in it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chais and whatnot.
Chais, yeah,
Sure.
exactly. I mean, not like Chinese teas and things like that are usually black, I think, or green tea and things like that. But
back to water.
yes,
Because we seem
we
to have,
always go back to tea somehow.
You know what? I think it's often because while we're recording episodes, we're drinking tea.
Right.
And tea is so soothing. But do you drink a lot of water?
I try. So, Marco, as you will see, I have now taken to put my water in a large, empty, cleaned out wine bottle because in an effort to drink more water and ensure that I get an adequate fill of water, particularly in the winter months when it's drier out there, but in the summer months as well, I have now taken to filling up this wine bottle because I know that this is at least 750 milliliters.
see.
And so I know where I'm at in my water consumption during the day. If I drink the entire wine bottle of water, then that's a good thing. If I know, like now, actually this is my second bottle today, so I'm okay. But if I had only had a quarter of this bottle, that I'm probably going to be very dehydrated.
I see. You know what would be a tip I would give you is you can get vitamin D in liquid drops. So when you fill that up with water, put a couple of drops of vitamin D and you'd be getting your vitamin D in there too.
Oh, that's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You just got to go to like a health food store because vitamin D comes in pill form or droplets, and supposedly the droplets get absorbed into your body better, especially if you're drinking or consuming the water in the winter months, as you mentioned, when we have less daylight in this part of the world anyways, because North Americans or Canadians, and I want to say Russians, getting back to Russian, often suffer from
Scandinavians too.
vitamin D deficiency. Yeah, that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
Because that part of the hemisphere gets less sunlight and is out less in the winter because of the conditions.
And you enjoy infusing your water. Every time I go to your place, there's some sort of infusion of water that you give me, whether it's cucumber mint or I think I had like some sort of apple infused water.
Amanda does that. She just loves to. I prefer my water just as is.
Okay.
Although I do have a rhubarb rhubarb tincture that I'm now putting into my water, just for fun, in my soda water.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying that.
I'm not a big fan of rhubarb, though, in
I
anything.
love rhubarb.
Really?
Especially in the summer, rhubarb and strawberry together.
No.
You just got to get over that.
Fair enough.
No, it's like one of those things, because I was not into beets, and then I was like, I'm just going to get over this. I'm not into beets, and now I really love them.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, it's weird how you can do that with your mind.
Could you have, like, beet-infused water?
It'd be very red. I'm sure you could. It would be very savory, too, and earthy. I don't know if I would drink
it.
beet water, but rhubarb water I have no problem drinking. Now, what is the biggest body of water you've ever been to?
Oh. Like the Pacific Ocean?
Okay. Did you dip your foot in the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah.
Where?
California.
Okay.
I've also been to the Indian Ocean.
Okay. I wasn't allowed to dip
Oceans.
my foot in the Indian Ocean.
Well, yeah, I think it would depend on where you're dipping it.
I was at, what's that beach in India?
Juhu?
Yeah, Juhu Beach.
I wouldn't dip my...
Really?
No.
I don't think you're brave enough. I would have totally. My boss wouldn't let me when we were there.
No. I was in Goa or something like that, so
it's
it was
supposed
a
to be
little
beautiful.
bit...
I've been to the Atlantic and the Pacific, and I've always found the Atlantic to be much more rough.
Yeah,
than the
well, it's
Pacific.
colder and
Right.
it is rougher, no? No, well, I mean...
It depends, I guess. But when I visited the Atlantic, it's always been very, like...
Choppy?
It's had a lot of, like, raw energy. When I've been to the Pacific, it's been very tranquil. So I find that very interesting. That's not to say that that's how they always are, but my experience has been such.
What do you think about the Bermuda Triangle?
I've been there.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was awesome, and I'll tell you more about that on another episode, because we've come to the end of this particular episode. But
What a
we'll have to,
cliffhanger on this episode.
we'll talk about Bermuda in a subsequent episode. But yeah, we'll leave it as a cliffhanger, Nidhi. It's been very fun talking about water, tea, and the Russian bath with you today.
It has indeed, Marco. As always, we are recording from Toronto, Canada, and thank you so much for listening in. We hope... Oh, you want to say
We're just going to do a rock, paper, scissors.
yeah, okay, great.
We hope you will rate us.
3.
Oh,
Of
and
course
I did,
would.
I did scissors.
I did rock. And we hope that this episode, that the rock, paper, scissors knew is all done and that you're getting some Z's rather than anything else. But anyways, thank you once again, and we hope that you listen and sleep.